Welcome to Tried and True with a Dash of Woo, where we blend rock solid tips with a little bit of magic. I'm Renee Bowen, your host, life and business coach, and professional photographer at your service. We are all about getting creative, diving into your business, and playing with manifestation over here. So, are you ready to get inspired and have some fun? Let's dive in. Hey, welcome back to Tried and True with a Dash of Woo. I'm your host, Renee Bowen. Today is going to be an episode talking about Black Friday. So I'm going to go over some ideas that you guys can use as photographers or creative entrepreneurs for running a Black Friday sale yourself. I know that it's the week before Black Friday, but I know most of you have been in your editing cave and probably too busy to think about Black Friday. And now you're like, oh my God, maybe I should run a Black Friday sale. So let's just talk about it for a second. First of all, you got to really determine whether you want to do this. Like, is this in alignment with your business model? Like, does this feel good to you? Just like anything else. That's the first question I'm going to ask you, no matter what it is. Like, does this feel good? Does this feel in alignment? Because if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't sit right with you, it's probably not a good idea. But if you have this inclination that this could be fun, it could be different, bring in some extra cash infusion, whatever it might be. So then you want to sit down and think about what that might look like. So we know that as photographers in particular, now again, like this isn't just for photographers, but this statement will be. As photographers, it can be hard to run Black Friday sales because it's hard to, especially if you're like doing a higher end service and you're selling products, right? Because it's hard to, you don't want to discount, right? Using the word discount is not a great idea. You always hear me say that as opposed to discounting things, you want to think about how you can include more, how you can make something that you already have even better and add more to it rather than discount. So your Black Friday sales can look like that if that is something that you want to do instead of like discounting stuff or discounting products. You can optionally add more things to a service that you already provide, right? Like, so maybe you add more digital images to your family mini sessions that you're doing or something like that, where it's like, okay, normally you get 2, but with this Black Friday deal, you get 10. Or maybe you discount your digital offerings, or maybe you discount an album. So we're going to go over like some of those options. That could look like, and again, don't overcomplicate this. Like, I'm going to mention a few things on this podcast, but not with the intention of confusing you, just to kind of give you some ideas. There's really no right or wrong answer here. I mean, you'll hear a lot of people saying, don't do this, you shouldn't do this. But at the end of the day, you can run your business however the hell you want. And my job is to just kind of like spark some ideas for you, make you think about things that you maybe not have thought about before. So in one of my coaching groups, one of the photographers is offering that sort of Black Friday where she's doing more digitals for her sessions that she has coming up, like family sessions. And you can also do this with like branding or headshots. You can offer a special day of those kind of sessions as well. So if you do headshots or branding, maybe you set aside 1 or 2 specific days in January and you pre-sell them. Pre-selling in general is, I think, always a good idea, like especially if you've got a course that's been brewing in you that you want to like launch or some kind of offer to sell to other people. This is a good time to, do a beta on that and just sort of like, this is what the normal price is going to be, but I'm going to offer it to you for Black Friday for, half off, that kind of thing. And so pre-selling is a really good idea. It also will keep you on the hook to actually do the thing, right? If you pre-sell it and you've got people who actually pre-purchase it, you're gonna get it done because you have to. Left to your own devices, though, and waiting until it's already done before selling it, you might not. So I'm a big fan of pre-selling anything. So you can do things like that. But as photographers, think about one year I did this album sale where because everyone buys an album basically with me. And I would say I mean, really probably close to 95%. Like most of my senior clients, especially, will purchase albums. And even families, I don't do a lot of families, but even my families will purchase albums as well. So that's by design, though, because that's how I market and that's how I sell. My pricing is very much geared toward that. Like it points people to the album as the best solution for their session, like the best thing that they can get. And I sell it that way. So that being said, this was a few years ago before I really started pushing them a lot. So I think at the point that I did this Black Friday sale, I would have to say that percentage was probably more around 50-50 or 60-40, where people were still buying albums, but not every single person. And so I went out with a Black Friday sale. One of them was 40% off of albums. So I allowed people also to pre-purchase an album. They had to do it like in a short amount of time. It was only good for, I think, 48 hours. And so they had to pre-purchase an album if they had not shot with me yet, which then booked me some clients. So I did have a handful of people who said, "Hey, I'd love to take advantage of this, but I haven't even booked my kids' senior session yet, and they're not a senior until next year." No problem, book your session, pay that, get it on the calendar, and then pre-buy the album. So you go into the ordering session with a credit. So that happened. Quite a few of those happened. And then I also sold to people who had shot with me who had not purchased the album. So I did really well with that. So if you don't sell an album to like every person, see, running that right now for me would not be as fruitful for the people who've already shot with me because they've already purchased their album. But I could probably do one where it would pre-sell like I did before. So that is something to think about. Make sure your numbers make sense. Like don't put yourself on the hook for something that you don't want to be on the hook for, right? Like you got to make sure you're still coming out ahead. And you could also limit this as well. So say you wanted to do this, but maybe you only limit it to the first like 5 or 10 people. That's an option as well. Scarcity and urgency are still the two main factors in sales. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that because it can feel like sales in general can be, um, slimy or persuasive and in not a good way. But the fact of the matter is that is what works, unfortunately. People are going to respond more to that messaging than aspirational marketing, unfortunately, because that's how we're wired as humans. So the more you know that, the better armed you are to understand how to activate people to purchase from you. That's just the bottom line. You don't have to do it in a slimy way. You can still do this with integrity, but you have to understand that people are going to be motivated if you don't give them a lot of time and if so the urgency part of it or if there's not a lot of it, right? So scarcity. So if it's a limited time offer like a Black Friday, that's why the Black Friday sales work because you've only got a small amount of time and you want to get it done. So for instance, I'm not what I would say a big Black Friday shopper just in general, but there are certain things that I will purchase on Black Friday and that I will wait for and look for because I know I'm going to get a good deal. And I do my homework on it and I'm prepped. So when I decided that I was going to switch over my website from just using WordPress like I had done for years into a Showit site, I knew that I wanted to purchase a tonic template for my website because they're absolutely gorgeous. They're the best Showit templates you can buy. And I knew that. I had been looking at those templates for a good year, almost a year, before I decided, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet here and purchase it because they're not super cheap. Like it's an investment. So I wanted to make sure I was ready. I wasn't particularly ready on like which template I was going to get, but I knew it was going to be from Tonic because everything they put out is beautiful and it fits in line with my brand. It's how I wanted my website to look. So I waited till Tonic's Black Friday sale of that year to purchase my template. knowing that I wasn't going to really have time to do anything with it until like February or March because I was still going to be really busy and the holidays and all that stuff. But I was like, I'm just going to buy it when I know I can get it for over 20% off. And so if you know, for instance, you have a big purchase like that that you want to make, then, that's definitely the time to be thinking about it. And that is the idea with these sales. You've got to give enough off for it to be incentivizing enough for your client to want to buy it, to see the value in it, right? Like 40% off of the albums, it's a pretty good deal. My albums are not cheap. They start at 1850. So, okay, yeah, that's a good deal. So think about what you could offer that would be a good enough discount without using necessarily the word discount. It's all about, sales is all about the way that you word things and the way that you present things and the way that you market them. So think about how you could do that. I also have done sales on wall art because canvases are also one of those things that people can pre-buy. So these things can get people to actually pre-purchase a session with you, like, and get it on the books, which is always a good thing. So you want to think about how you're going to word that if you're going to offer something like that. As always, I highly suggest using something like ChatGPT or some kind of AI to help you if you have a hard time coming up with that language. Again, the prompt that you put in matters, on the quality of the prompt that you're going to get out. So you got to know how to use AI in the right way, but it has significantly changed my business and made it so much more efficient. So hopefully you are using something like that as well. But the idea is that you want to outline maybe, let's say, two or three things that you can offer. And so there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can offer something only on Black Friday, or you can offer it like the whole weekend. Or you can do, there's also Cyber Monday, right? Small Business Saturday. Like you can kind of do a Friday through Monday sort of like deal on, 2 to 5 things. Or you can do like a deal a day, which is what I'm going to be doing this year. And I'm going to give you guys like a little preview of what I'm doing so that if you are a photographer or a creative and you've been looking to purchase some of my things that I offer, that's going to be on the table for you. So I'm going to give you like a little preview of what that's going to be because I'm not releasing them until the week of Black Friday, and I'm doing one a day, and you'll have 24 hours only to purchase that item. Okay. So that is also something you can do if you have like 5 things that you can offer. So maybe one day you do a canvas sale. Maybe the next day is an album sale. Maybe the next day is a mini session deal. Maybe the next day is a digital package. So there's different things each day. But here's the thing, no matter what you decide to go out with for this Black Friday sale, you have to be prepared to market the crap out of it. And that is the thing that most photographers, especially and creatives in general, I see have a hard time with is that you guys don't want to show up in people's inboxes 2, 3 times a day. You don't want to be posting on social media nonstop. You don't want to go live on Instagram and talk about your deal. You don't want to show up in the marketing, and that is prohibitive. So if you know that about yourself, you have to know that you're only going to be as successful with your offer depending on how much you market it. It's just like anything else, but especially when you're talking about like a limited time thing, like a Black Friday deal, you got to show up. And I highly, highly recommend automating a lot of this process. So, like getting clear about it, pre-writing your emails, using AI, like use all the things at your disposal. I talk about a lot of this inside of my group coaching and one-on-one coaching. Like we got to use what we have access to. But pre-writing those emails, getting them scheduled with Flowdesk or whatever you use for your email systems, like getting all of those done so that you don't have to be doing that physically every single day. So pre-doing that and, writing your social media content and scheduling it so that you're not having to do all of this in real time the week of Thanksgiving when you're probably going to want to be taking some time off, hopefully with your family. So you have to think about the logistics of it. The other thing that I see a lot of you guys running into problems with is like, well, how do I actually create like a sales page? Like a lot of you photographers, you're not in the digital marketing space where you might have something like Thrivecart or Kajabi or a platform where you can run educational content. So my main site is through Show It, right? My reneebowen.com is through Show It, but I have another site, reneebowencoaching.com, and that's my Kajabi site. That's all my education. So I pay for that. I pay for Kajabi so that I can run courses, I can have marketing funnels, landing pages, accept payments, and all that. And that just makes my life so much easier. So if you don't have something like that, you need to look at how you can create at least a checkout link. You want to make this easy for people. That's the main thing that I hope you hear from this conversation in general is don't overcomplicate this. You don't have a lot of time, right? It's like Wednesday before Thanksgiving week. So if you haven't put something together for your Black Friday deals, you don't have that much time to do it. I want this to maybe take you the next day, the day and a half to put something together and do it with intention, right? Instead of just like throwing something out there, think about it first. Okay, realistically, if you haven't planned for anything yet, maybe one or two things. Okay. And then how am I going to do this in the easiest possible way? Meaning, if you use Square or, PayPal, you can probably just create a link from either of those things. Like I know Square has the capability to send invoices, so does PayPal, Stripe. Like look at the payment systems that you use already for your business. Maybe your CRM already has something like that where you can set it up, like a checkout. I use Tave. Maybe if you use 17 Hats, there's a way for you to create something like that. Make it easy for people to just like get your email, see what the deal of the day is, click it and buy it, right? Make it easy. And then you can always follow up with those people after, right? And be like, okay, I know you purchased this, blah, blah, blah. Here's kind of what it looks like. You can set up those email automations as well so people know what to expect. Because if they're pre-purchasing something, they're not getting it right away, right? So it's a little different than me where I'm like, okay, I'm selling a course. I have to have this whole thing set up. Like I've been prepping my Black Friday stuff for weeks because I got to make sure all of those funnels are in place and that the content is actually being delivered. But there are a couple of things that I'm selling for this Black Friday that I haven't created yet. So I'll talk about that in a second. But in general, I don't want this to be difficult for you, right? You can also you can do a Black Friday sale on an actual session type. If you don't want to sell any product necessarily, although I do think that that is a good thing. I think that people are incentivized to purchase when you offer something big off of a nice product. But what can also work really well is if you pre-sell a session for next year at a discount, right? Like, so you can offer people X amount of dollar amount off of your highest session, let's say. I don't know if I would necessarily go in and be discounting my lowest session, but I would incentivize my higher session, like my 3 hour, right? That has an 850 buy-in and a 2650 minimum order. So like that would be the one for my seniors that I would play with a little bit and be like, okay, for Black Friday, I'm offering the session fee at half off or something very attractive to get people to say, oh yeah, that's the session that I really want. And now it makes more sense for me, that kind of thing. So you have to play with it and see, make sure the numbers work. And again, if you can do like 3 or 4 of those and that's it, that's fine. Just it can help people get on your calendar and get you booked, which is always a good thing, especially at this time of year, because most of us are sort of like slowing down a little bit and still editing. And then, we get to December and then January and it's like, oh, I don't really have enough clients on the books because you're tired and you're burnt out. So doing a little push now for Black Friday and trying to pre-book yourself, that could be something to think about. So maybe you already have some ideas about Black Friday, and you just hopefully this episode will help you refine some of that. The thing you want to think about is that you want to be sending at least 2 emails a day. So if you are only doing, let's say, Friday to Monday, you want to be sending at least 1 email a day if it's the same item. If you're going to do a deal of the day where that offer is only available for 24 hours, you want to be sending at least 2 emails a day. And you can structure it within like Flowdesk or any of your email systems where you have a little line that says, if you don't want to see anything about the Black Friday sales, just click here and it'll like segment people off of that list. That's one of the newer features on Flowdesk that I absolutely love. You can just build in like a link action and people can just self unsubscribe to just that segment, but not unsubscribe from your whole list, which is awesome. So I have a blog post about all of that. I'll try and link it for you guys below if you are interested in learning about Flowdesk, because I think that those new features that they keep rolling out, and there's new ones coming all the time. Those are really, really good ones and very, very useful. So I'm going to have that in my, in every email that goes out, like, hey, by the way, if you don't want to see any more emails about Black Friday, just click here and they can just hop off of there. But the idea is that you definitely want to be in their inbox a couple times a day. You got to be talking about it. You got to be talking about it on your social media. You've got to show up on your stories and talk about, hey, today's deal is this. This is why it's so awesome. Support it with testimonials and reviews and any kind of like social proof that you possibly have. You've got to give people all the information. But remember, in sales, just in general, and so we're talking about sales in general, but okay, specifically for Black Friday, sales is about selling, especially what we do. Sales is about selling the feeling. Don't get too lost in this is all the things that you get. Don't get too lost in all of the stuff because you're going to start to speak to their conscious mind, their thinking brain right here, okay? You want to be thinking to the back of their brain. And I know that sounds terrible, but you want to sell the feeling. You want to get them to understand what it's going to feel like when they have this more than if this logically makes sense. Okay. You don't really want them to think about too much about all of the different pieces of it, how it's going to make sense. And am I going to have time to implement this? And blah, 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 blah. You want to speak to the feeling. When you walk into your house and you see that beautiful gallery wall that you purchased of your family session in 20 years, think about how that's going to make you feel. Looking at these images, thinking about a life that isn't in existence really anymore. That was 20 years ago, but look what you have from it, right? I mean, as photographers, we definitely need to be leaning heavily into that because we can freeze time. And I know it's really hokey and kind of like, cringy to kind of, capturing memories, blah, blah, blah. But that's literally what we do. We freeze time and in a way that not everybody can. So highlight that for these people. Like you're selling an emotion. This is an emotional purchase. If you are a high-end photographer, meaning you charge a lot of money, and you make good money from portrait sales, you are in the business of selling emotion. That's just the way it goes. Like, this is not a logical purchase, right? Nobody comes to me and says, hey, I really want to drop $5,000 on a portrait session. What you got for me? No, they come in wanting the feeling that they're going to get from my images because they've seen my images and they've evoked some sort of emotion and they want to be able to give their kid this amazing experience that I sell. And in the end, they end up handing over $5,000 because that is what it costs. So you need to understand how to sell in general as a photographer, but especially if you're doing this as part of your Black Friday sales. Like you gotta go in with it. You gotta just be like, here it is. This is what you want. This is the feeling you want. Don't you want this? Yes, you want this. Yeah, yeah. So you gotta not be afraid to sell. Okay. So hopefully that helped a little bit. I know it's really hard to kind of go into every single aspect of it here because it's just me talking into a microphone and I don't have like real-time questions, but I'm using some of the questions that my groups have given me for Black Friday to try and help you guys as well. Obviously, I go deeper into it with my groups and my one-on-one because that's what they're paying me for. And if you want to join me in that, you always have that opportunity, by the way. So I am going to be re-enrolling my Elevate group, my higher level. I have 2 levels to Elevate. I have a VIP level group, and then I have a regular Elevate group. The regular group is ongoing. It's $49 a month, and you can join us at any time. That might change. I'm not 100% sure. I might start limiting that to like a 6-month enrollment period as well. My VIP level is 6 months. Like you have to sign up in December for a start date in January through June, and then you have to sign up again for the last half of the year. And I prefer it that way for the VIP group because it is a much more high touch experience. You've got me on Voxer. Like you can Vox me at midnight on Wednesday. And if I'm awake, I'll respond to you. And if I'm not awake, I will respond to you in the morning. Like I get back to that group really, really quickly. It's a very high touch experience. It's a close knit group. The other photographers in that group are amazing, and most of them have been with me for a long time. So I feel very maternal about that group. I don't let just anybody in. So you do have to fill out an application for that, but I am enrolling for that now. I will put that link below if you're interested in joining us. It's not for photographers who are not ready to be part of a group. Like you've got to be ready to learn from other people and also want to contribute. It's not like a huge time suck. It's just you can't, I don't want people to just kind of come in and take. I want you to be a part of the group. That makes sense. The other level of Elevate, my foundation level, is $49. It's one Zoom call a month. So you definitely do get coaching, but it is up to you to show up for that call, right? I can't hold your hand through it. I mean, for $49 a month, you get a whole portal of information. I walk you through how to find your why, how to clear out all the cobwebs in your mind so that you get clarity, deep clarity on what your business looks like. We build a strong foundation. And when you come to that call, you can ask me anything and I'm going to coach you through it. So you have that and you have access to me in a Facebook group, which I'm very active in. And I'm giving you stuff monthly. Like, for instance, for both my levels of Elevate, starting in December, they're going to get access to a 30-day abundance and worthiness challenge. So basically what that is I'm going to create like weekly content for them for working through our money issues and our worthiness issues in a very specific way so that we reprogram that crap in our unconscious so that we finally understand that we are worthy of charging what we know we need to charge. But also it's going to get us very ready for 2025. We're going to do some work on goal setting, manifesting, like we're going to bring in the science and the woo into this little challenge. And both levels of my Elevate group get this for free. So that's another perk of just being in the groups is that you either get a huge discount off my products or you get some of the stuff for free. Now, my foundation level doesn't normally get everything for free, but I'm giving this to them because I really want them to like get ready for 2025. And so anyway, if you want to join us for that, you can join foundation right now for $49 and you can be a part of that challenge that starts December 1st. So I'm going to put these links below. Okay, so that's how you can work with me right now. You can either sign up for Elevate Foundation right now for $49, or you can apply to the VIP level of Elevate. And that's going to start in January. Or you can apply for one-on-one coaching. I am taking applications for that as well. So I'm going to link that. It's the same link basically as the Elevate. So you just want to kind of let me know which one you're sort of applying for. But I am going to be sort of limiting my coaching time next year. So if you're thinking about getting in on some one-on-one with me, you need to apply now. We need to start planning for it now. All right, so I do want to give you guys a quick little preview of what my Black Friday sales are going to look like. And I'm actually going to share my screen really quickly so that you can see the sales page. Okay, so the links are not done yet, but I'm going to be sending this out today in today's email. This is just telling you about what's coming. Okay, so I have these things. I'll come back to that in a second. But this is the sales page, basically. It's pretty simple. I don't go too crazy with it because, again, I don't have a lot of time myself at this time of year. I'm still wrapping up a pretty crazy fall of lots and lots of shoots. So I have 5 offers that I'm going out with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And each one is going to be announced that morning, like at 6 a.m. And then it'll be good for 24 hours. So like 5:59 a.m. Pacific time, basically. So a new one that I'm doing is called Creative Fuel. And it's basically well over 250 AI prompts that you can use for social media, for your blog writing, for your email writing. All of this is designed to make your life very easy. This is not going to be a very expensive offer at all. It's going to be really inexpensive, but hopefully give you some fuel for your content, because that's one of the main things that I hear from you guys is that you don't know what to come up with, you don't know what to write about. So these prompts are going to be a lot of different kinds of prompts. It's not just for photographers, by the way, but they're going to be fairly universal so that you can plug it into ChatGPT or Claude AI. Both of those are my go-tos for AI, but you need to be using it in the right way. And most of you guys are not. Like, I'm seeing so many robotic captions on Instagram. You can tell that that was written by a computer. Like, it doesn't sound like you at all. Like, I know a lot of these photographers, I've met them in person, and I read their captions and I'm like, oh my God, like that literally is just like a generic chat GPT spitting out something because you haven't prompted it the right way. So the response you get from AI depends on how good of a prompt you put in. So some of these prompts are meaty, like they're multi-dimensional. Basically, they have different steps. And some of them are pretty simple, but it's all about the way that they're worded. And I have been using ChatGPT religiously literally since it came out in like November of, I think it was what, 2022. I have been hardcore using ChatGPT. So I use it daily. I go deep with it, and I have crafted these prompts for you guys to make your life easy. So this is one you're not going to want to miss. And again, it's not going to be expensive. So it's something you can buy. It's going to be a PDF that you can just copy paste into your AI and you're done. I also am going to be having the creative team method. This is a really big sale. It's going to be like $700 off. So if you are in the market for a senior rep program, if you want to learn how to do it in a way that your clients still will share the images, because more and more over the last few years, we've been seeing that like the way to do traditional teams is just not working for a lot of us because our Gen Z and Gen Alpha clients do not just, automatically share in the way that they used to. So we have to be a little bit more specific and intentional about the way that we run our senior rep teams. I teach you how to do all of that inside of the creative team method. Like, it is such a meaty program. I will link the page to the creative team method so you can just read all about it and start thinking about if this is something you want to invest in, because this one is going to be $700 off. Like, it is no joke. If you've been on the fence about getting it, this is the time to do it. You're going to have 24 hours for it. So another one that I'm doing is going to be super fun. Hey, TikTok. As you guys know, I love me some TikTok. I've been on TikTok since 2019. I've been trying to get photographers and just everybody in general to get over to TikTok because I believe it is an amazing platform and it is like one of the best ways, if not the best way, to market to your teen clients if you're a senior photographer. So I love TikTok, and I did have a course on TikTok like back in 2020. But the problem with courses for TikTok is that they just don't stay relevant for very long because the platform changes so dang fast. Like, the algorithm is great. The TikTok algorithm is quick, it's fast, but it's also really ever changing. And so it's hard to keep up on some of those changes. It's hard to keep up on, okay, what's working now? Like, I just got into a groove and I started getting some traction and now nothing is working and my views are in the toilet. Like, I want to teach you guys what is currently working on TikTok. So the last couple of years, I've basically done these little pop-ups. So this will be a pop-up live Zoom class that I'm going to hold on January 13th of next year. You are pre-purchasing it during Black Friday sale. So you'll get it half off what the regular price is going to be. And it just secures your spot. You get to be on live, get the real-time training, and you will be also able to tell me specifically what you want to learn about, because I'm going to send out a survey to everybody who does sign up for this class and ask you guys what you specifically want to know about, because I want to make it relevant to the people who are actually showing up live. Now, you will get the replay. You can't show up live. That's fine. You can still submit questions and all of that, and you'll be able to keep the replay. So it's probably going to be at least a 2-hour call. My last one was a little over 2 hours. I always build in time for live Q&As and tutorials. Like, I share my phone screen. I walk you through, creating TikToks, conceptualizing them, how to find the good ideas, because there's a little hack about using TikTok for SEO that a lot of people don't know about. I'm going to walk you guys through SEO on TikTok and how to make your life so much easier if you just get your ideas from there. But there's a really easy way to do it. So I'm going to walk you guys through that and creation and implementation. So, and what's working on TikTok, why you want to have this particular strategy. What is your SEO strategy? And to really get you guys on the right foot for TikTok, especially if you are new to it. But even if you've been on it for a while and you just feel like, I don't know what works, we're gonna dig into that. So again, this class is not going to be very expensive, but it's going to be half off for you guys for Black Friday. The other one next to it, 3K sales, is my Fearless IPS class. So you're going to learn in-person sales. If you are just selling digital products, or God forbid, including all of your digital images inside one low session fee as a photographer, you need this class. Okay. This is going to be, I think it's $600 off or $400 off. It's a lot of money off of what the normal price is for this class. It is how to run in-person sales. I walk you through the psychology of why you would want to structure your sales this way. And I share all of my actual pricing with you, not so that you can, just kind of right out of the gate start charging $3,000, $4,000, but it will show you how to work into that, because the psychology of the structure of how you structure your sessions and also your collections and a la carte is a really big factor in how much money you actually make. It's not super complicated. It's not going to teach you how to, have multiple different things at the same time and be confusing. No, if you have like a 12-page price list, you're confusing your clients. And I don't know about you, but I don't want my sales sessions to last any more than about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. I'm not spending 5 hours with them. I'm not. And I know there's a lot of educators out there who talk about, these $10,000 sales, and they got these $10,000 sales because they spent like 6 hours in the person's house, this, that, the other. I'm not doing that. I have gotten $10,000 sales over Zoom. Like having a Zoom sales session has brought in over $10,000 for me. You don't need it to be complicated. You don't need it to be, built exactly the way this guru taught you. This class shows you how to structure it psychologically for high sales, but you can decide however you want that to look. Maybe you start out a couple $1,000s cheaper than what I do, but then you work your way into these higher sales. The whole idea is that you get the understanding of what you actually need to make, right? You got to know your numbers. So this is a video class. It also comes with lots of resources to download. When you purchase this during the Black Friday sale, like I said, you're going to get it for a lot of money off, for way cheaper than it normally goes. And you're going to get some really great resources that you can download. It comes in the form of a Dropbox link, so you just save it to your computer. You don't have to log in anywhere. It's pretty easy. And then the last thing I'm offering, Senior Biz. Okay, this has limited spots, and this also starts in January. So you are signing up now for a class that starts in January. This is specifically for senior photographers, those of you who want to be senior photographers, those of you who are just brand new in general to photography, or brand new to senior photography, or you've been in business for a minute, but you're including everything for like $300 and you don't know how to break out of that, and you haven't built the business on a solid foundation. I am starting a new group. Okay, this is my senior photography blueprint, and I'm going to walk you through every single piece of what you need to implement as a senior photographer, including all the foundational aspects of really, really understanding your purpose first, right? We're going to outline that so that you understand how to communicate that in your marketing, who those target clients are for you in your market, and how to activate them to buy, where to reach them, how to market to them, how to build a marketing plan that works for you and your lifestyle, as well as all the shooting and the editing and the posing, as well as all of the marketing. And included in this, you get the creative team method. You get that whole other course the senior reps course that teaches you how to build a senior rep program. Because a lot of you guys, that's a very big part of your senior business. I know it was for me, it still is. So I teach you that inside of it. I give you access to that class, which sells by itself normally for $9.97. You get it included in the senior biz. So if you are even just thinking about this, like starting your senior biz or really honing in on, taking it seriously finally, you're going to want to jump into this group. It is going to be a group. We're going to have 6 weeks of calls. You're going to have access to me on Voxer so that you can hit me up with questions any time of the day or night. And you're basically getting it for over $2,500 off its normal price. So when I do this one-on-one with people, this is upwards of $4,000 and you are getting a huge deal on this. So again, stay tuned for the price. This is still an investment. Okay. I'm not going to lie. This is not going to be like a $50 offer. It's very, very in depth. You get every single thing that I do in my business and then some, as well as the creative team method. So it's a very meaty combination. And it is for photographers who are ready to take their business seriously. Like, don't get this if you're just on the fence about starting your business, because it is going to be an investment. I want you to buy this if you are really ready. I want you to be like starting 2025 off, ready to like kill it with your senior business. And again, I'm a life coach as well as a business coach. So all of that is included in this coaching with me, right? You get access to all the things that I teach you, but you know what? You're not going to do anything with those if you've got a lot of head trash. So we're going to address that as well. Okay. And then right there is the thing that I was just talking to you guys about, the worthy high vibes, right? This is a 30-day abundance challenge inside my Elevate group. If you want to join us, you can click right there. That link is live. So I'm going to put the link to the sales page down below. If you guys want to join us, you can join us right there. And then I'm also going to be including some affiliate links as well for other businesses that I love, which again, aforementioned Tonic, that's where I bought my website template. I saw the preview. They are having a huge Black Friday sale. I think it's even bigger than the sale that I purchased my template from a few years ago. I think it's even a bigger discount than what they normally give you on their sales. So I'm going to link that for you guys. This is linked as well. So you can click that photo and you can click right here and it's going to bring you to their wait list. So you want to make sure you get on that wait list, because not only will you get access to the sale stuff first, you also get some freebies. Like just for signing up, they send you some Canva graphics that you can use for your Black Friday sale if you are going to be doing one. You can also customize it for anything else. So I will probably be adding maybe a couple more to that. I really only want to, add products for my affiliate stuff that I actually really use and love. Yes, I do make money off of them. Like, I'm not hiding the fact that when you purchase these things, I also make money on it, but I'm not going to sell you something that I don't think is worthy. So if it's listed here on this page, I vetted it and I can stand behind it. So that's your preview of my stuff. And I hope that just having this conversation, listening to me yap about Black Friday and sales and selling and psychology of selling, that it has sparked something for you. And even if you hadn't even thought about doing a Black Friday sale, maybe this has inspired you to just put something simple together and see how it works, because a big part of running a business is experimentation. You don't know what's going to work until you try it. And every successful entrepreneur will tell you that they're not afraid of failing. Failing is actually a good thing to them, because that's feedback, right? They don't see it as failure. They just see it as feedback. They see it as, oh, okay, well, that didn't work. What could I have done better? Right? So we got to get more resilient. We have to be ready to get back up, right? It's not about being perfect. You do not have to make this perfect. You just got to try something. You have to take a step, right? So give it a shot. If it works, great. If not, how could you have made it better? Would you want to do it again? Does it feel good to try again? Okay, let's see how we can like pivot and refine it. This is a lot of the stuff that I do inside of coaching with people, right? Because some of the people in there have a really hard time with even putting themselves out there because they're just too tied into the overthinking and thinking that they need to make it perfect when really they just need to do something. Okay. Make a move. It's all good. It's not that deep. And you can do anything you conjure up. Sometimes you just need some support to get you through it. So hopefully I was able to provide a little bit of that for you here today. I'd love to hear from you if that is the case. And I'd love to hear from you in general. Hit me up over on Instagram at Renee Bowen. You know, I always love to hear from you in the DMs. I'm going to put all those links below. I hope I remember everything that I talked about. And if you guys have any questions about any of this, though, just let me know and be watching your email for my Black Friday drop because some of these things are going to be super fun. You are going to get a lot out of them. And again, it's all about trying to just, provide what you guys actually need and hopefully at a price that you can feel good about for Black Friday. So I'm excited and I hope you guys are excited too. And I hope that you also have a very restful week next week. I probably will not have a podcast next week because I am going to be enjoying some family time myself. And I hope that you guys are able to do the same and that you're coming to the end of your crazy busy time of year and that you get to relax a little bit. So have a really awesome one. Watch out for my Black Friday emails and my social posts, and I will see you next time. Love you. Bye.